So welcome guys to our new IoT tutorial, and in this tutorial we are going to create this IoT button which is basically connected to IFTTT webhook, which means that when we press this button 5 times, in the 5th press email will be generated and to my email ID. And I have also created this web server on our ESP8266, this NodeMCU module. So first we need to click this button, and for first click you can see in the both phone in here and in the screen and the PC we have one, and we don't need to reload the page. So for the second click, third click, fourth click, and now we are going to press at the 5th time. We can see here IFTTT webhook triggered, and this will basically, this is the mail ID right now. And if we refresh it, yeah, so we have received this email which says the subject is the event named button pressed trigger this mail. Basically button pressed, I have already created this button pressed webhook on the IFTTT, and I have also created this applet which will basically send an email at this email ID which we can see here, and this is the subject and this is the body of that email. The data is 5. You can see this data because I am sending this data from the Arduino sketch. Okay, so we'll discuss each and everything in this IoT tutorial, but before that, this is the complete demo, I think, and I will also share the link of all the relevant tutorials, all the things which we are using here, which includes here button state change code and explanation, which basically we are clicking the button for each press, we are detecting it, and that thing is achieved using this tutorial. And the file system, we are using file system. Basically the file system is used to serve the file of web server, and the setup IDE for ESP8266, this is the first step. And these steps I don't give you the demo of this step because it's quite basic, and everyone should set up your ESP8266 board with the Arduino IDE, this one, and I will explain this code how I have written it. And so let's begin. So now we are going to discuss these things. The motive of this tutorial is to set up this ESP8266 web server, and we are also going to use the SPIFs of ESP8266, basically the file system, and we are also going to use the WebSocket in ESP8266, and we are going to send data from the ESP8266 to our web page, and we will set up this web server, this WebSocket on the JavaScript end and as well as in the Arduino sketch. The fourth point is the setting up of IFTTT webhooks. Basically we are sending data to IFTTT, and the IFTTT service will then trigger email to our respective email, which we will see in the further part of this session. So the requirements of this project is a Wi-Fi module, any Wi-Fi module. In this case I am using ESP8266 NodeMCU, and the sketch will be work on this Wi-Fi module. The second thing is push button. So since we are creating this IoT button, so we need a button. And the third one is the interest, which is the obvious one. And the circuit diagram is quite simple, in which we can see here this push button, the one end is connected to the pin D4, and the second end of this push button is connected to the ground rail. Fine. So as we click this push button, it is basically connected in pull-up mode. So we will use this pin D4 in pull-up mode, so that when we click this button, basically the ground will be connected to pin D4, and we will trigger our service, or basically we can trigger anything as we detect a low signal to pin D4. I will discuss this thing more clearly when I will discuss the Arduino sketch. Okay, so the architecture is quite simple. We can see here the setup, the hardware setup right here in the bottom, and above it we can see the HTTP web server and the WebSocket server. Okay, so the HTTP by default is run on port 80, that is the common thing, and in this case I am going to run WebSocket server on the ESP8266 on port 81. So we are using this WebSocket server basically on a NodeMCU, so that we can get this data to our web page, to any other client which is connected to the server, without making new connection for that data. Basically in WebSocket we know that it is basically two-way communication. It follows two-way communication, and we don't need to create new TCP connection. We don't need to create new connections as we send new data. So we can achieve the same from Ajax, but in this case I am using WebSocket because it will give us low latency, and it is very good technology in according to me, because you can use this technology with NodeMCU and you should use that. So if I am making the same thing with WebSocket, we need to basically make a Ajax request from our JavaScript code regularly after a specific interval of time, and we can also get that from the same web server. We don't need this thing. We don't need WebSocket at all if we are using Ajax at the JavaScript end. So I will discuss these things in more detail in further sessions, in further tutorials, but that is enough for now. And we can see here that as the push button in the fifth press, as we see in the demo, in the fifth press we are detecting the presses, and in the fifth press we are sending a request to webhook. Basically, what is webhook? IFTTT webhook. It's nothing but it's a service where you can make a post request. We can, as a NodeMCU, it can make HTTP GET request, HTTP POST request. So we can easily make HTTP POST request or GET request to this IFTTT to the basically the webhook service maker.ifttt.com. So we can make the same from a library. We can do it from HTTP POST normally, but we can do it, and we are sending a data, which is basically data field is sent with value 5, and it will be sent. As it will be sent, an email will be generated, because we need to create an applet in the IFTTT end. So we are going to first create that IFTTT applet, and after that the IFTTT will basically trigger the email service, and it will send us an email regarding that. So this is the whole architecture, how our project is working. First you need to create an account on IFTTT, this IFTTT.com, and after that we need to create an applet here. So if this then that, so when we want to trigger our service, basically, so when data is come to our webhook, so when the data is come to this webhook from our NodeMCU, we want to trigger an email. That is the simple thing. So receive a web request, event name, we need to put an event name here. So in my case I will put here button_pressed. You can change this name to anything you want, button pressed. So click on create trigger, and this then if part is completed, now we need to set the then part. So we need to basically send an email. So we are going to type here email. So this is the email part. Send me an email. This action will send you an HTML based email. Images, links are supported. Okay, so click on it, and the event name, this occurred on the maker webhook service. So this is the subject of that email, and this is the body of that email. So we are basically see that here some fields are in the curly braces, and some these data are normal in written normally. So basically these are the dynamic data. The event name is the basically the name which you are set before the event name is that name. So in our case it is button pressed right here, will be sent to our email address. So what, when, and extra data. So we are sending a single data. We can send 3 data on this webhook. So we will see the documentation after we create this. So just change it to data single value 1, which will this value 1, and what event name, when occurred at. So these 3 things will be sent to our email with when this webhook will triggered. When a data is come to this webhook, this email will be triggered. So after that we need to click on create action. So we can see here, if maker event, this thing is pop up and send me an email at this ID. Basically when you are creating this IFTTT account, this is the account, this is the email ID you have put on this account. So you will get the email notification on the same account of which you are creating this IFTTT account. So click on this finish button. So we can see here that our applet is created here, the button press applet, and now we need to get the API key of this IFTTT webhook, this one. So simply search, navigate to this URL, ifttt.com/maker_webhooks. So in this URL, you can see here that your webhook is right here also, and it is also in the my applet section. So you can see that it's documentation and settings. So let me open documentation in a new tab and click on the setting button. So in the setting, we can see here the URL, and in URL you simply copy this thing and paste in the Arduino sketch, in the this thing API key thing. We can paste it right here. So hash define IFTTT event, the event you have set previously, the button pressed, you need to put that thing in this field. In the documentation part, in the page, we can see that the key it specifies our key, and to trigger an event, make a post request or get web request to this URL, to this API. We need to make a get request or post request. So for after as soon as we make a get request, our applet will be triggered and we get a email on this email ID. This is the thing. And if we send some data, if we make a post request with the value in these types of fields, in that case we can easily get the we will get the body with that value, which will be sent in the post request. So we'll see these things. We can send the trigger the post request and get request from this web page right here, and we can see right here in the current state this applet is never run. And first we need to put this thing button pressed right here in this field, and the value which can be 1, and this is basically the curl request. Curl is basically a CLI tool for making get a post request. It's basically for testing our APIs and similar to the Postman. So click on this test field, and event has triggered. And if we refresh this page now, this applet page, it's run one time, and if we check our email, if we refresh it, a new email is generated right here, which says button pressed what, when, and data will be 1. So this is how this thing works, the what, when, and data. This is the body, and this is what we are sending to the email. So this is the thing. So we can trigger this webhook using the get request too. So we don't need the JSON format this thing, so we can do that as well. So we need to do the same thing from our Arduino sketch. So we are using a library. If you can see here, we are using ESP8266 webhook.h. We are using this library, and using this library we are making a post request. We are making a post request when our button clicked. So we can see here in the setup part. These things we will discuss it later. In the setup method is the beginning point of this Arduino sketch. Here we can see we are first initializing the baud rate with the serial monitor, so that we can debug our application. Delay of 10 millisecond. And we are initializing our button with input pull up, I have already discussed that we are setting this button in input pull up mode, so that we don't need any 10k ohm resistor connected with it. And we need to add the router access point name and password. You can name a single one or a multiple one, it's totally depend on you. It is the Wi-Fi name, and this second field is the Wi-Fi password. So in this line of code, we are connected to the internet, and we get the IP address which will be allocated by our router or the Wi-Fi hotspot, anything. So after that we are opening a MDNS server. Basically it is helpful in making a domain name. As we can see that it's written here, start the MDNS responder, so that we can access the our web server using esp8266.local, this address. So alternatively we can also access by the IP address, which we will get here, but we can also access our web server on this address, on this URL. So in this line of code we are starting our spiffs. This is basically starting our file system. If you, in the tools we can go to here flash. If we have maximum 4 MB of flash, and we are here using 2 MB of flash, so we can put other files like HTML, CSS, JavaScript files in this flash, and this is more good to put those files in the flash of the ESP8266, and it can be used more efficiently there. So writing the whole HTML code in this Arduino sketch will be very painful, so I have basically written that code to the file system of the ESP8266, and we are fetching that code as the URL as the web server loads, or we make a get request to /route. So in here we are making that request to the first. If nothing is found, so we are making a handle file read, and in this handle file read function, in right here you can see here, in this function we are making a we are basically serving the index.html file right here, and if that file presents in our spiffs in the file system, first we need to upload that using ESP8266 sketch data upload. So you don't see this button in your Arduino IDE, so you need to set up that. So here you can see that ESP8266 file system, so you can set up using this link. I will provide this txt file in the GitHub repository, and you can access that. So in the handle file read, we are basically, what we are doing is we are serving the index.html file, and we are making the push counter which will basically this variable will take care of the count of the total push button, the total number of counts. So we are making it 0, and WebSocket.broadcast text. So we are broadcasting a message, this message to all our WebSocket clients which are connected to this WebSocket server. So we are broadcasting 0. As soon as a web page loads, we are sending 0 to all our WebSocket clients which are connected to ESP8266. That is the case. So we can do that to a single client too, but in my case I am doing that. I am sending this 0 to each and every client. In the mobile client too, we are seeing the same thing, and in the PC we are seeing the same thing, but we can handle it separately using this function right here. So if you can see here, WebSocket event, so this function in the top part you can see this function. You can handle each and every client separately in this function, where you can see here a num field. This num field is basically the ID, the WebSocket client ID. As soon as a new client added, this callback will be called, and this function will be called, and we can manage each and every client using this field, using this number, and for each for different client we can achieve different thing. But in my case, I am basically broadcasting a same message to each and every client. So we are discussing the setup. So we are serving index.html from this part, and in the /request, in this line we are beginning the server, HTTP server started, and after in this part we are starting our WebSocket server. So this is the loop part, and this part will be executed repeatedly. So we can, in this line we can see WebSocket.loop. This will make our WebSocket server alive, and in the second line we can see server.handleClient. It will handle all our clients, and this will be also called repeatedly. And the third part, this whole thing right here, from here, this whole part will basically count the number of presses according to the press. If the press count is total 5, we are making a webhook trigger, the webhook thing. We are basically doing a post request to this API, but through this library we are making this like this thing. simply webhook.trigger and the string URL. The value of that thing is currently 5 now, and we are sending that thing. And so how are we counting the number of pushes? So it's quite simple. So there are two things like button state and the last button state. Initially they both are equal, and as soon as we click the digital read, it becomes 0 and it's not equal, and it will go in this loop. And if it is low, that means if we presses the button, so here in this line we can see that button push counter will be increased, and the same value will be also sent to each and every client of WebSocket. And we can see in the demo that our mobile phone and in the PC both are getting the same value. This is the line which is helpful in achieving that. So after that line, we are basically printing this for just debugging purpose. So delay 50 millisecond is just for the debouncing issue, by solving debouncing issue. And this is the whole sketch. We are going to upload this sketch, and we have discussed this whole sketch. Now we will see this index.html file and how we have set index.html file. So let me open this. So the first thing you should keep in mind that in iftt.ino you need to create a data folder, and in that folder you need to put all your index.html or css or javascript. All your files will be put right here. So you need to open this in any text editor. So we can see here the HTML, and in the head section we are using this bootstrap CSS class, the bootstrap 4, and in this body part we are making a container, and all the text should be in center, and inside that the main thing is right here, the count, and it is assigned a ID of count. So we need to grab that HTML element, and we need to update it as soon as we get the data from our WebSocket server. As soon as we get any data from that server, so we are defining the script tag. So we have defined all our server code in this part. So we have first make a WebSocket connection on the server on port 81. So where if you can see in the sketch, in this we are using the ESP8266 server in port 80 and WebSocket server on port 81. So that's why we have put this 81 right here. So in the connection.open you can see here that WebSocket client connected will be sent to our server. So this will be sent to our server, and console.log connected to WebSocket server will be displayed on the web page itself, console.log. Not on the web page, in the console, the inspect part of the, and in the here console connection.on error, if anything wrong happens, the error will be consoled. And if this client receive any message, what we are going to do, we will sending that message. We are basically sending that message in the inner HTML of this part, this count, this part. We are sending this in this HTML part, and if it is 5, if we are consoling that iftt webhook triggered. You can do similar things like a pop-up on the real page, on HTML page, or an alert. Pop-up or alert will be more better. This is the tutorial. Please like, share and subscribe this channel.